Welcome to Ed Foodie. For January 1st, we made our pork roast and we have lots of leftovers. So what's better, leftover pulled pork barbecue sandwiches. So that's what we're gonna do today. And what I'm gonna do is make a homemade Tennessee whiskey barbecue sauce, which sounds really good. I actually had some of this Tennessee whiskey barbecue sauce in a restaurant called Calhoun's in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it was really good. I really enjoyed the flavor. It wasn't real sweet, had a nice little whiskey taste to it and a little bit of a kick. So we're gonna try to duplicate that recipe here today. So we got quite a bit of leftover pork that I pulled off all the bone. I heated it up a little bit and just pulled it with my hands just so we have nice tender pulled pork. And by the way, the pork was really excellent. There wasn't very much fat in it. So the first thing we're gonna do is I have some oil in a little pot. I'm just gonna fry these onions up in a pot rather than go from a frying pan. So I've got about a 1/4 cup of very fine chopped onion. So when we're done with this barbecue sauce, we want to hopefully cook this down where you don't feel it in the barbecue sauce. So we're going to fry these up probably for 5 to 7 minutes. Make sure they're very, very tender. Okay, so my onions have been cooking up for about 5 minutes and they're looking pretty tender. So we're going to start adding in the rest of the liquid to make this barbecue sauce. We'll start with a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. So our next item, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. Maybe a little more than a 1/2 cup. And like I said, I don't like my barbecue sauces too sweet, so I'm going to use a 1/3 cup of ketchup, but I'm using Whataburger as a Texas hamburger chain. They have a spicy ketchup, and it's a little bit spicy. So I'm going to add that, hopefully take away from the sweetness. And because this ketchup is pretty spicy, I'm going to add in a 1/3 cup of just regular ketchup. I want to tone down the acidity of the vinegar. It's pretty tart, so I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. A tablespoon of Tabasco. Just about will empty this bottle, I think. Then just a couple of squirts of liquid smoke. Go easy on that because this is pretty strong stuff. I'm going to add maybe an 1/8 of a teaspoon. Okay, this is going to be it. So we're just going to stir this up. Mix it in good, and I'm going to simmer it on pretty low just to let these flavors mix. I don't want to evaporate much of this because this is only going to have about 2 cups of sauce, but I just want to cook these onions down a little bit more. And then what we'll do is pour some of this pulled pork into this barbecue sauce, let it soak in there really good, and then we'll serve it up on a nice hamburger bun. All right, so let's just, we're gonna let this simmer for maybe 5-10 minutes. All right, so it's been about 10-12 minutes. This has been simmering, actually thicken up a little bit. So I've let this cool off, and actually I poured it into a 2-cup measuring cup. I'm going to store this just in my empty bottle of Jack Daniel's. And this only made a little over a cup, so you may want to double the recipe. And I'm going to hopefully be able to pour this into my bottle here. So I saved back just a little bit. I'm going to pour on some of my, I just want to take a little taste of this before I make my pulled pork sandwich. smells so good. Oh. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Wow. It's the best barbecue sauce I've had. It's not for the faint of heart though. It's pretty spicy and hot. So you may want to start maybe with half a tablespoon of the Tabasco sauce. And then if it's not hot enough, then you can add maybe another half a tablespoon, or stick with just regular ketchup instead of spicy ketchup. But yeah, this is really excellent. And I've got a little more than 3/4 of my pint filled up, and I'll just store it in there, and we'll use this for our sandwiches. So let's make some pulled pork barbecue sandwiches now. So now what I'm going to do is just add in some of this pulled pork. I'm not going to put it all in there because I've got some other ideas what I want to do with the other half of this. I'll put in about half of it. So we're just going to stir this up till the meat gets warmed up. Okay, so the pork's warmed up. And what I could have done is just put the warm pork on the sandwich and then drizzled some of the barbecue sauce on there. I just decided to, mix it all up into one pan. But all right, let's give this. I'm going to try to squeeze out as much. I don't want it too runny and sloppy. Oh, it's so tender. And I like to have some hamburger dill chips on mine. And I'll put lettuce and tomato. All right, so here we have it. You could put a little slice of onion on there too if you wanted. Good. The whole thing that really makes it is that the pork turned out so nice and tender. So if you want a recipe for that pork, the recipe is called pork roast and sauerkraut. I made it for New Year's Day, which is a standard among the Midwest people for good luck for New Year's. And just pulled off all the sauerkraut. If you're going to make just a pulled pork, you can cancel out the sauerkraut and keep everything else in that recipe. But yeah, this is got a little bite to it. It's a little spicy. I can taste a little bit of the Tennessee whiskey. But yeah, it's good. We'll have Catherine try it. And I guess what I like about it is, like I said, I don't like the big, thick, sweet, ketchupy barbecue sauce. So I really enjoy this. Could have steamed the buns. I know you like warm buns when you have them.
It's good.
Good. All right. So what I'm really excited to do with the rest of the pulled pork, we're going to shred it into very small chunks or pieces. And tomorrow we're going to try to make barbecued pulled pork egg rolls. And I think these are going to be really good. And we'll make a fresh batch of barbecue sauce to dip it in and eat it. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to Dad Foodie right over there. Thank you.